On this episode of Pennies Going in Raw, we missed Sunday, but we got some stuff for you. Hugh made $500,000 in a day with PFE calls. This week's market had some things happen. We went to New York, and our swings did some things. Let's talk about it.
Hey, yo, check 1, 2. This is Flavor Flav in the building for the Atlas crew.
Atlas Trading, what the fuck is up?
There are traders, there are prodigies, and then there's legends.
We're up 4%, baby.
No way.
4 fucking percent. Buy the fucking dip.
Hey, who told me about IDEX?
Like, dude, what the fuck? Like, someone just made, like, a lot more money than me on my trade.
You find out life's this game of pennies.
Did you check the portfolio?
Pennies.
The margin for error is so small.
I bet Warren Buffett never did that.
And they out there making money right now off of penny stocks.
Them two guys is putting in work to make y'all rich.
The pennies we need are everywhere around us.
Time to think big.
Pennies Going in Raw.
Featuring Dan, Deity at Dips.
And Hugh Honey. Produced by Vinny Strokes, baby.
Welcome back to Pennies Going in Raw, sponsored by the Blazing Chronicle. Today is December 9th, 2020, and the market took a little dip today. It was a little spooky. I'm not even sure why it happened. Are you?
No, I mean, I think it was just we're itching for a pullback. I feel like every time that I talk to people, we're hitting all-time highs. Yesterday I was on the phone for 40 minutes and the market hit an all-time high twice.
Yeah, you just never know. I feel like it's been doing it just about every day. It really did, I guess, kind of need a pullback. And in the dip today, it was a really good spot, I felt like, to really add some dips because it had one of those feels where it was going to reverse. I actually put $15,000 extra into the market. I've only been playing with about 30. So being able to put around half my cash in the market felt nice. I ended up selling around 5K, and I got back to just as high of gains as I was before the massive dip. So that was always good. It felt like one of those days where I was comfortable adding dips, and that finally worked out for a comfortable amount for what I feel like was the first time since July on one of those massive dips.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah. I really think we talked about this in, I think, 2 podcasts ago, but it feels like the market is shifting from, running on hope of a stimulus check to, like, where the hell is our stimulus check?
Yeah, but I feel like also it's like people are, when it comes to the stimulus check, it's almost at a point where it's, I'll believe it when I see it, Yeah. Because they've juked us out so many times. I'm not going too bullish off of an expectation of a stimulus check anymore.
Yeah. No. Well, yeah, it's, I think it's a mix of a few things, but I definitely think that the fact that rates are still incredibly low, the second that we raise rates, we're going to see a massive dip in the market. But also, we're running on that hope that, the stimulus is that $1 trillion stimulus is going to come. With no rates. I mean, you can borrow $100,000 for nothing, for literally nothing right now.
So I did plan on recording this podcast in the morning, but now that the day is over, we've seen PFE move. Could you kind of talk about your $500,000 day on, Tuesday or Monday, with PFE, obviously your biggest day. What are your thoughts on it now, and how did you play your $500,000 day? And I'm sure you scalped some there because I saw people wondering about that as well.
Basically, my sentiment was, is there a bigger catalyst than the vaccine for a pandemic?
No.
I mean, I am a catalyst trader, and for the last few weeks, I've been looking for an entry on PFE, and I really felt like on that huge dip, I was positioned nicely last Friday, when the stock was at around 36. I had a good size in PFE, and then when that dip started to happen, I gave back some gains because I felt like the run was over. And then over that night, I couldn't sleep, and I really just worked things out inside my head, and I was like, no, what am I doing? This is the biggest catalyst there is. This dip is a godsend.
Yeah, I remember leaving on Monday morning. I had to leave around 4 a.m. and I didn't want to wake him or anything, and I just kind of gave him like a 2-finger nap or knock at the door, like see you, Hugh, and I was like, and I just heard from the other room, PFE gapping up. So I was like, okay, this kid's having a good day.
Yeah. No. So I really felt like that dip was like kind of like a godsend, because then I was like, there's no bigger catalyst. The flow of PFE is 5 billion. You can throw as much size at that. One of the biggest issues with penny stocks is that there's almost, you can't throw 5-6 million at a penny stock. You'll own the company.
Yeah, and that's I think what a lot of people are seeing today was Zach having a picture of him having $13.7 million in PFE.
Exactly. So even and so those were the common stock. I mean, that's the equity, and even the options. You can load $1 million with the options, and you can still be the smallest fish in the sea. So that's when I said, okay, time to put the big boy panties on, and any dip underneath like 42, really, I was just loading and loading and loading.
And this is all just call options.
Yeah, this is all just call option. I wanted to switch it up a little bit. I had a bunch of different call options. I had everywhere from December 11th calls to December 24th calls, and they went up about 1,000%. I really cut some way too early, and that was my bad. I was at 2 a.m. I was putting, I was just getting orders out there because I had 3 different accounts, like maybe 15 different between the 3 different accounts, maybe 15 different call options. So I didn't want, if like a headline came out and I had to get out of the calls, I didn't want, to have so much slippage. So I set my orders the night before, and I ended up setting them like 50% lower than what I wanted to. It was just like one of those moments where it was like super early. It was just super early out. My eyes weren't working, and I was doing the numbers wrong. And so I ended up cutting a good chunk of my position, I didn't get the chance to load them back.
If you traded it perfectly, that's a $6 million trade.
Yeah. So I did the numbers today, and it would have been
what I believe was 600,000.
Yeah. So if I traded it perfectly, it would have been like a $7.6 million trade. It was still a 7-figure trade, but it was actually my first 7-figure trade. But
congrats, bro.
Thanks, bro. It's still a 7-figure net trade, but that was just an unlucky break. Lessons were learned.
Yeah, I was about to say, how did today affect all that? Like, you had your gains. Are you just writing quote unquote free calls at this point?
Yeah, so I was writing free calls.
What's that like?
I was writing free calls, and so I was, and again, this time I checked my orders a little bit better, and so I basically got stopped out for like maybe like $1,000 loss net. Today on all the calls, and that's just because I said, okay, if it breaks the trend, I'm taking my cash. I don't want to give up, in a significant trade like this and give back, 30-40%, because we know how options move. So I didn't want to do that. So I did that, and then I added back like 10% of my position for approval, because I do think that this will pop on approval, because again, there's no bigger catalyst. So I added back like, maybe like 100,000 in premium today, just for fun, and for approval, get a nice pop at approval, and hopefully, we get another 100% move on the options, and that's what I'm thinking. If we get a significant dip tomorrow, I wanted to save some cheddar for if we see a significant dip, and if we see a significant dip, then I'll triple down, because on approval we will see a nice pop.
Okay, so there's that, how Hugh made 2 of my houses in one day. And next, we've got some of our swings. I know obviously today it's a little weirder talking about it because of the massive dip, and some didn't recover as well as others. But some of our swings are doing things, and I know a lot of ones that a lot of FinTwit are in, especially with AMCI, PIC, and GIX. PIC had its merger announced last night, and it went up $2 from around 16 to 18. I think it was called around the 10s. GIX, that one was called around the 10.20, and AMCI, I think it was called around 12.10, and all of them had some really nice pops in the past few days. Is it just SPAC central now?
Yeah, I mean, EVs have been hot, which helps out the SPACs. What was it? QS. I mean, that went wild, so that really helped. And then, of course, PIX merger. So, I mean, SPACs are just going nuts. This is an already crazy year.
I mean, we could say SPACs are going nuts, or is it more of just a Zach's calls are going nuts?
Yeah. Oh man, shout out to Zach. I mean, Zach's just been a monster, and his calls have been spot on. I added some more AMCI today.
Yeah, and also another thing that I added about some AMCI pick and GICs on all of those dips today for sure, because it felt like we saw what potentially could happen. We saw them running. And speaking on Zach, he also had his first $1 million day, and I felt like it was almost no surprise to see that, just because he's doing $200,000 scalps on large caps every day, and it's just a matter of time before one of his swings really popped off, and he had another monster scalp, and there it is. He had two of his biggest days in the past week and a half with 800,000 and $1 million. And damn, dude, what do you think about all that? Is it inspiring, jealousy? What is it?
Oh yeah, fuck Zack jealous as fuck. No, are you kidding me? I mean, we're all great friends. It definitely helped me. When I was like running through PFE at like 3 a.m. It definitely helped me. Like, hey, one of the biggest things that Zach talks about is conviction. That trust your gut. So it's awesome to see. It's super inspiring. I look up to Zach. I think we all look up to Zach. I can't wait to get to that level in my trading. As much as we all joke around, I mean, it's just awesome to see one another just absolutely killing it. And I mean, is there anyone that Zach can look up to? I feel like we all just look up to Zach,
Yeah, I mean that's one of those things, and it really is nice to have like such a caring community almost, where it's I don't feel like there's any malice or negativity towards it. Like I see your gains. You're fucking 4.5 years younger than me, and I see him make $450,000 in a day, and I couldn't be more excited, knowing that just my trade strategy of making 1% a day is good enough for me. And I may never see a $400,000 day, but I think it's just the gist of when everyone's making money, everyone's happy, and it's you look up to one another, and it definitely is like something crazy to see, especially with Zach's gains, your gains, and PJ's gains, making these 6-figure days. And it is super, it's definitely something to look forward to. That I think some traders that view it as negative, like, oh, blah, 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 this is stupid. If you don't have this much capital, you can't do it. It's paper trading, whatever. I think they're just looking at it the wrong way. I feel like you got to use that as inspiration.
Exactly. And I mean, even when we see, we love when everyone tags us inside their posts, and we see, first 5-figure day, and tip my count up 300%. Like, we honestly, I think Zach and I, we love to hit milestones, and you two, you and PJ, the four of us love to see, and Bob, everyone in Atlas, we all love to hit our own milestones. But I think like we get the most joy when we see, what was it? The one guy.
Other people, dude. Yeah. The coolest thing is like the ones that are consistent. They're learning, like the ESQ or EQ trading person that keeps tagging that. It's like 250. I'm like, damn, dude. Like maybe I'm looking up to you now. You're the one that's balling.
Yeah, exactly. Like we get the most joy out of that.
And other people. Yeah, dude, I love the ones that are like 18 years old. Yeah. And they're like, hey, not bad for a high schooler. Yeah. And it's like they have $14,000.
I think that was last night, right?
Who has $14,000 in high school?
That was last night, right?
Yeah, it's stuff like that. I mean, we've had a few, and it's always great to see. And, seeing people that are 40 years old say, hey, I wish I started earlier. Yeah. And now I'm 26 and saying, shit, I wish I started earlier. So, it's just one of those things. It's super awesome to see, and we're really glad everyone's banking. And the past couple weeks have been very awesome.
Yeah.
for sure.
I mean, yeah, I think that's a really good point, because what did we say in like August and September? We said, listen, don't blow up your accounts inside these crappy months, because when the market gets hot again, it's going to get hot. And, well, here we are, you know? And so I think that's a really good point, that like we kept stressing, don't blow up your accounts, don't blow up your accounts, don't force it, don't force it. I mean, Zach took off a literal 2 months, you know, and we kept stressing, don't blow up your accounts, don't try and force trades, because when the market gets hot again, it'll get hot. And I mean, these 2 weeks have just been insane.
Yeah, dude, this 2 weeks made up for like a bad August, September, and half of October.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that, you know, for anyone that just started trading, I would say really within the last year, you know, take this as a moment to look back and say, okay, I remember, you know, we all have that one trade in like September or, you know, October, August, where we were like, damn, I really wish that I didn't force that and had that capital back. Think back to that moment and remember how hot the market is right now, and how all it takes is 1 or 2 really good weeks to make up for that crappy 8 weeks.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people had this issue solely because of SPAC. I mean, I hate bringing it back, but I mean, it dropped so much with SPAQ, and so many people were in it. And I feel like a lot of people's charts showed the exact same chart as SPAC does, just because they were over leveraged in it, and they were looking for a play in the dead market, and you know, it was a longer hold than they expected. Do you have any other stock related things to talk about before we go into one fan question and then jump in on the New York party?
Let me see. Yeah, so MTNB, I cut some on that huge news that it had. It popped all the way to 140. We were up like 40 or 50%. And so I cut some a little bit pre-market, and I added back more today on the dip near 1. I mean, it's like 40% lower. So
yeah, there were so many good dips at noon.
Great dips. And then I added obviously the PFE, and then I actually added some Neo calls today, because I really think that EVs are going to be hot. So I added a few Neo calls and a little bit of LI equity. That being said, I will be short when this thing's over. When I feel the sentiment change on the EVs, your KNDI, your Solo, your LI, like all that shit's going to be mine. I'm going to burn them to the ground.
Yeah. PGIR announcement, like just because we're long 1 week or short 1 week doesn't mean like it can't change the very next day.
KNDI, Solo, and BLNK, they are in NKLA, they are the biggest pieces of crap I've ever seen. And even if I'm playing the Momo right now, I guarantee you that I can't wait till the sentiment changes and I can burn them to the ground. I can't wait. And take this as a warning. Take this as a warning right now. Okay, you'll never see a Solo on the car. You'll never see a KNDI on the road. All right, you'll never see it, and I can't wait.
What did you think about GLSI going like 2,000% today from like, what was it, $15 to $130 or whatever?
I'm not gonna say anything because it was breast cancer data, right? Or it was just regular cancer data or something.
I didn't hear about it till way later. No, a lot of male name stocks been running, like Chris, leukemia data. Yeah. You know, you got Dan. You know, a lot of male.
Listen, all I'm saying is that I guarantee you, there's 1,000 different scientists who are looking at the data right now and trying to find something that's wrong with it. We saw it in SAVA when the CEO went parading around. You know, he took the stock from 75 cents to like $20 right before data, and then it tanked to like $2 again. So listen, I'm telling you right now,
be careful.
Yeah, there's literally, but scientists are petty. If they're not finding the data, they're trying to find something wrong with somebody else's data. So I'm telling you right now, if you're long the stock or you're invested in it, just understand that I guarantee you there's going to be a headline. There's going to be some credible scientist trying to bring it down within the next few weeks.
All right. Okay. So there's that. We'll do one stock question from the fans, real quick, that wasn't Willie Meat Sauce asking me if we used all of the goodies he provided for us in New York. Shout out Willie Meat Sauce. Atlas is a really big family that can even get you weed in different states. So two of them are actually regarding PFE. And I think that's what you're going to touch on because, we're a very educational process or podcast. Yeah. Using PFE Catalyst as an example, what's the best way to find a great value when choosing the strike price and date?
That's a really good question.
I feel like PFE's Catalyst wasn't like a certain date. Yeah, I feel like we've talked about this in more specific, but PFE isn't that more of a...
Yeah, so I mean...
Yeah, that's like a whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's like a whole... Like, when I look at it as a whole, I look at it as PFE, the company, is literally trying to save the world. That's how I look at it. I don't look at it like, okay, here's the data's coming out this day. Because, listen, even though they're meeting tomorrow, the panel's meeting tomorrow, they don't have to decide on a decision. I expect a quick decision, but they can take as much time as they want. So that's why, if you guys heard me earlier, I said that I kind of loaded any cheap calls that were at a discount, anywhere from the 11 calls to really the 24 calls. And I think I had like one or two of the 31 calls. I mean, I was just, listen, it was more like, I know this is going to pop. It's just a matter of when. So I wasn't going all in on 18 calls. I wasn't going all in. But that being said, well, just a side note about options is that it's more about finding the sweet spot. We did a whole podcast about this, but one of the important things about options is implied volatility. Okay, if the implied vol is too high, then you're not going to make anything on your options. So I always pay attention to implied vol. If it's over like 130, I would say the implied vol, then I almost never play it. Also, yeah, I mean, and then at that point, it's finding the sweet spot between where can the chart go, and where can the stock in the chart go, and when is it going to get there, and that's really how I pick my options.
All right, and your next one on PFE. What's your game plan going to be trading PFE after approval, and why do you think it will be approved? It's supposed to be at 9 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow, and someone responded and said it's 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. So, any thoughts on that? Yeah,
so just a quick, because again, I said it earlier, I am leaving some downside room on my calls because I think that people are really going to get frustrated and they're not understanding necessarily what PFE is doing. Okay, the panel's meeting to discuss the EUA. They're not making necessarily a decision tomorrow. Okay, they totally can. But in me personally, I think a decision's going to come Friday or over the weekend. That's when I think the decision's going to come. But I'm kind of almost expecting a little bit of downside pressure because I think that as we get later inside the afternoon, everyone's going to be like, okay, where's the approval? Where's the approval? And they might get shaken out. Okay, tomorrow is just the panel meeting to discuss the efficacy and basically the dosage, okay? So that's what really, that big news that was yesterday was the FDA briefing. And what that meant was that showed the data that the FDA panel was going to go over, okay? So that was what really important was one of the key notes was that the first dose showed 56% efficacy, and by the second dose, it was 95% efficacy. So, in my opinion, I think it's going to get approved. It's just a when. So, I'm hoping that people don't understand what tomorrow is, and they think that they're going to make the decision by, like, let's say 1 p.m. or whatever, and that we get a dip, because then it's like, in my eyes, I think it's definitely going to get approved. But and I'm willing that if that dip comes to me, I'm going to take that and load right back up into a position for when it comes. And I'm expecting 44, maybe 45. I mean, let's see where the dip goes. But on that approval pop, our options could fly.
And that's that. Okay. So done with that. Last things last. Aside from my great news of that now I am a Weeble superstar influencer in a YouTube advertisement and TikTok commercial that I've made a lot off of Weeble referral since then. So shout out you guys. We did have your little birthday party.
We did.
He was now no longer a young boy. He is now a grown man at 22 years old. Has a lot more money than the most of us. I personally had a blast. How was your time?
Oh, I had a fantastic time. I think we always somehow figure out to have a good time. But no, I had a great time. My apartment gets freaking destroyed. But
I feel like you have drunk people try their hardest to clean it.
That's true. Shout out to Tommy, cleaning like 50 cups in the middle of the night.
Yeah, me and one of Hugh's friends from college or high school or something were trying to sleep around 3 a.m. as another one of his drunk friends that I guess is stimulated off of something is just cleaning absurd amounts of glass cups, turning the sink on and off in between each cup. It was so loud for such a long amount of time, but when we woke up, that place was kind of clean, and we cleaned it a little more, and by the time Hugh got out, he didn't have very much to bitch about.
That's true, and I do like to bitch about my apartment, so that's true. Shout out to the guys. Just a wonderful time. I felt all the love. We had a great time. I can't wait for number 23 birthday party.
I got him an Apple Watch, so that's like super good friend. So he does owe me. I think that cost me $2,800. So I'm expecting next year.
My favorite quote of the end. What did you say inside the bar about the Apple Watch? It was my favorite quote of the entire weekend.
Someone was like, is that the Apple Watch 5 or like the newest one? I was like, it's not really about what number Apple Watch it is. It's the fact that it's an Apple Watch. That one?
Yeah. And I think you said something along the lines of, it was the newest. They said, is that the new Series 5 Apple Watch? And you said it was the newest one.
It was the newest one under $150.
No, dude, I love it. I really appreciate it. It was a great gift. It was a great gift. I've already used it a hell of a lot. It sends alert right to my wrist. It's great.
Yeah. I mean, you'll never have to worry about missing my calls because I know they'll be right there. But yeah, man. As always, it was a blast, and thank you for having me up there. You and your girlfriend are always too sweet, and y'all do a great job decorating and being hosts. But other than that, I think we should be available to see you guys Sunday. I shall be in Tampa for the Breathe Carolina concert, getting lit with my emo friends.
I wasn't invited. I'm not cool enough.
You were. You're just 18. I'm just the only one willing to fly that far. But I think that clears it up for today. Obviously, Vinny was up there with us too, and our sweet love producer, the greatest guy. He made sure to make it up as well, and we always love seeing him as well.
And Sonny came up.
Yes, we hopefully, if we did give an intervention to a guy who's been trading sideways for 3 years. So if that turns out good, we should have what a turnaround story that would be. Extreme Home Makeover Trader Edition.
If Sonny's listening to this, we had a great time with you, buddy. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. Just so many laughs the entire weekend.
You're an electric ball of energy, my son.
Just so many laughs.
Yeah, it was a great time, and we did miss you guys this Sunday, but we should be back this upcoming Sunday for another on-time episode. Yep. So we will see you guys then. Thank you guys for listening to another Pennies Going in Raw. Toss us that 5-star on iTunes, a like on YouTube, and we will see y'all next time.
Oh yeah.
Peace.